Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. We're right at the end of the year, or really close to it, and we just had a new fragrance release come out, but it's not just any fragrance release, it is the second Valentino Uomo Born in Roma flanker of the year. Why release two fragrance flankers in the same line in the same year? Because, I don't know, money, I guess. But we got a new one right here. Picked it up from Macy's. It's running $115 full retail, but I paid a little bit less because as of when I'm shooting this video, they have a sale where, interestingly enough, the code is FRIEND, and that gets you, I think it was 15% off. So I actually paid like $97.75, I think it was. So I'll have it linked in the description. Feel free to check it out down there. But anyway, this new flanker, as I said, a new Born in Roma. This one though is called Rockstud Noir. Valentino always comes with those fire names. And by fire, I mean put it into a fire. It's an awful name. Other than Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense, I can wrap my head around that one. Yellow Dream, not as much. But none of those matter for right now. No, we want to concentrate on Rockstud Noir and talk about this one, how this one smells, and if it's worth picking up. Before we start talking about this fragrance though, and check out the presentation and everything, check out these codes. Are you checking those out? Okay, fantastic, thank you. Got a bunch of codes for a bunch of different websites. Triple Traders and Frag Bar have a lot of clones on there. A new one from Precious Liquid, a new code. You shop at any of these websites, use those codes. Let's go ahead and check out the presentation. If you're familiar with Valentino Uomo fragrances, you already know the drill, but we'll take a closer look. So here we have the box. You have the name of the fragrance, name of the house, size and concentration all on the front right there. It is an eau de toilette. You have a QR code on one side of the box. On the back, you have your ingredients and your barcode. And on the bottom, you have your badge code. The full badge code is 38X8007 on my bottle. And here's a look at the bottle. Coloration-wise, really close to Valentino Uomo Intense, other than on the front, there is kind of a pleather label there instead of the metal label that you'll find on Valentino Uomo Intense or the original bottlings of Valentino Uomo Intense anyway. And then of course, Valentino Uomo now comes with a standard cap up top instead of the built-in atomizer that it used to have. You have a sticker on the bottom with your badge code, and it does have that little spike collar decoration that the Born in Roma fragrances have. Let's go ahead and blast a couple sprays here so you can check out the atomizer. There we go. It's good, gets the job done. Now, one thing that I will say about this guy is, I don't know that the name and the presentation matches the fragrance a huge amount, which is not the end of the world. Ultimately, if the fragrance smells good, then who cares, right? But it's called Rockstud Noir, and then it's totally blacked out. So you would think leather, possibly like a black leather type of fragrance or something dark, heavy, mysterious, maybe smoky, incensey, whatever. But that's probably what you would think when you read Rockstud Noir. And then you look at the bottle and it's all blacked out, everything is blacked out. It just says to you, this is gonna be something for fall and winter time. And lucky us, it's coming out right here at the end of October, Halloween season. So yeah, of course, it's gonna be that, something for fall and winter. It's not even freaking close to that. So it's one of those times where you just kind of look at the presentation, you look at the name, and then you smell it, and you think to yourself, these things do not match. They don't really mesh together, do they? But as I just said, that ultimately doesn't matter that much, as long as the fragrance is good, right? Now, I will admit that when the Born in Roma line kicked off, I was not a big fan. The original Born in Roma, I wasn't about that. You know, it's kind of Invictus-y smelling, and I've had a hate on for Invictus for a minute, and I've kind of worked through that as time has gone, but the original Born in Roma, I'm still not really gonna wear that one. Would I suggest it to somebody who's younger, looking for a very versatile fragrance that can pull compliments? Yeah, all day, every day. But for me personally, am I gonna wear it? Nah. Then as time has moved on, I think the Born in Roma line has gotten better. Yellow Dream, Coral Fantasy, Intense. Yeah, each one I like a little bit more than the last. Which brings us to here. Where does this kind of slot into the hierarchy? And does it continue that trend of just getting better? So the way that this smells off the top, and by the way, this is one of those fragrances that gives us just a very simplified note breakdown, an insultingly simple note breakdown. Bergamot, sage, ambergris. That's it. Bergamot in the top, sage in the mid, ambergris in the base. That's what they're giving us. But anyway, when you first spray this on, it's sweet. It's very fresh, a little bit green. The sage here is quite prominent, and it's going to remind you a bit of fragrances like Ralph's Club, the original Ralph's Club from Ralph Lauren, which I actually like a lot, but it doesn't smell exactly like Ralph's Club. To me, it also smells like it has just hints, little bits of something like Invictus Platinum. And that actually becomes a little bit more obvious as it dries down. That little bit of Invictus Platinum, which also reminds people of Bad Boy Cobalt, Invictus Platinum. So you may be reminded a bit of that, though I do think Bad Boy Cobalt, when you smell it side by side with this, is sweeter than this one. But still, it's kind of Ralph's Club with maybe little bits and pieces of other things. Like I said, little remnants of other fragrances that you may be able to pick out of this one. So it's like a majority stake of Ralph's Club with a minority stake of Invictus Platinum, kind of. It does have a fuzziness to the fragrance, that kind of like fuzzy, fresh, clean, almost shower gel soap kind of vibe, and that's gonna come from the ambergris that's in the base here. So it definitely has, to an extent, that kind of fresh, as I said, aromatic, clean, sweet, blue fragrance vibe to it. Maybe you wouldn't say it's a definite blue fragrance, but it's playing in that kind of ball field. So this ends up being the type of fragrance where, you know, it's going to be one thing to one type of person and one thing to another, okay? So if you're the type of person who wants everything to be 100% unique and have no similarities to anything else, then you're gonna smell this and go, oh, it sucks. It sucks, because it smells a little similar to that, a little similar to that, therefore, I don't like it. If you're the type of person who wants something that's going to be very wearable, versatile, compliment pulling, all that type of stuff that fits in with the modern, fresh type of scent for men that's become more popular here over the last couple years, then when you smell this, you're gonna be like, oh, it's fantastic, because it really does smell very well put together, like I said. And I've only worn it a couple times, but it grew on me from that first spray through to the second wearing a lot. I had initial disappointment, but once I got over that, I started to really enjoy it. Do I like it as much as Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense? No. I like Intense more. I think Intense is just overall a better fragrance. In the air, I think it smells amazing. One of my favorite releases of the year. This one is not. Not that I dislike it, but it's not in that like upper echelon of releases for me this year. It smells really pleasant, easy to wear, fresh, sweet, but then has a nice aromatic dry down. Now in terms of performance, like I said, only worn this a couple times. Initially, projects really well. Through the opening, through the first part of the mid, it's really solid. After that, it does start to sit a bit closer. When it gets to the dry down, when it's more of that kind of aromatic ambroxan that we talked about before, it's not really projecting like a beast at that point. It is, after all, an eau de toilette. Not that that's necessarily the end-all be-all. There are a bunch of ETs out there that are very strong. But for me, I would say comfortably in the average range. Initially, it seems like it's gonna be a lot stronger, but then it kind of settles down. And longevity seems to be good, but not great. That being said, again, 2 times. I can't really say with any authority as far as the performance goes, but it doesn't seem to be weak, but not like some monstrous performer either. Good enough for me though. In terms of seasonality, honestly, it comes across more like a spring, maybe summer or early fall fragrance. It's not the type of scent that most people are gonna think of as a cool weather fragrance. So like late fall, winter time, it's not really that, you know, it's not very warm. The sweetness is more that fresh kind of sweetness. It's not like a decadent, heavy sweetness, you know, like big vanilla and amber and cinnamon and cardamom and stuff like that you would more typically think of as a fall and wintertime scent. It's not that. So it is kind of strange to be popping it out now. It smells like it should have been released 4 or 5 months ago, but that being said, as I often do say, especially as it pertains to fragrances that are oftentimes thought of as spring and summer scents, you can wear them during the winter. If you like the way it smells, absolutely wear it. And if it's really ripping where you're at, like really cold, wind is blowing and you're gonna be outside, just spray more on. As far as daytime or nighttime, obviously, totally decked out, Rockstud Noir, it's more of a daytime fragrance. You can wear it through the evening, but it comes across more as a daytime scent for me anyway. But I think it would actually make a nice fragrance on like a night out if you were going somewhere and you did want, you know, little attention. Yeah, I think you could pull it off during the evening. So there we go, Rockstud Noir. Thankfully not a complete failure, not complete trash. It has already grown on me, as I've said, so that's good. I would slot it in, and I would say basically, and I know that this is kind of harping on it, but if you enjoy Ralph's Club, if you enjoy Invictus Platinum, Bad Boy Cobalt, any fragrance that has come out over the past few years that's done in that way where it's very fresh, as I said, a little fuzzy, a little zingy, and has kind of a green feel to it with a bit of sweetness, but not as much as fragrances like the original Invictus. Fragrances of that sort. If you like those, this probably is gonna be right up your alley. If all those fragrances that I just mentioned you don't like, then you're probably not gonna jive with this one too much. So there we go, I am out of here. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.